we are along. Welcome consciousness. From the gates of Orion to the manifestation onto this plane of existence. We will be with you for as long as we are with you. The aspects of your awareness are beginning to align to the gates that are beginning to become open. Open gates allow for transformation and re-identification. The polarities are no longer becoming so much constraints upon your ability to create and manifest. You no longer look to each other for authority. You are recognizing your authority within the cosmicness of your own being. Consciousness. These statements are simply truth. They are beyond needing to be verified. They are taking place, for there is a changeling that comes upon this plane. Many of you have been requesting, asking, demanding, contemplating, ready to live and die for this change. Recognize consciousness in your physical formats. The change has to align, or you will continue to repeat what you as a seeming civilization have been repeating for over 1,000 years. There has been oftentimes implants, help, reassessment, but have come through many different vibration formats from your planet, from your star systems, from visitation, from reawakening, from these that you would label as your prophets, from these that would have a dynamic voice that you would listen to. And now, consciousness. You come to this point in your civilization where no longer do you look for a voice, no longer do you look for visitation, no longer do you look for something outside of your assessment. You are recognizing the authorization that has always been yours. The geometrical confluence that has always been your birth passage. And once again, consciousness alignment takes place. This has been bespoken for much of your eons of time. It is not simply this gate or window. It has been a window that has been talked of, that seemingly opens and closes. And yet, why it is talked of that way is that you, consciousness, are the gate. You, consciousness, are the alignment. You, consciousness, are that which is coming together. So, beings, this that takes place and comes forth is coming forth through you. Yes, there is an astronomical experience that will be coming. Pleiadian, Arcturian, Sirian, Orion. Lots of O's. With your form's consciousness. You can feel it in the very depth. It is a center that has not been spoken of. It is called umbilical center. It is not reproductive. It is not solar plexus. Once again, we remind you of a position. Breathe consciousness. Perfect. So beings, the position is simple. Would you wish to have this information?
Yes.
Some of you that were already watching the body, you got a sneak preview. That was our attempt at cosmic humor. Some of you would like to have some cosmic humor. Then allow yourself to laugh at your histories. Allow yourself to laugh great belly laughs at yourself in the mirror for taking it so like the Syrians. Very serious. Syrians are not about humor. They are about placement, about organize. Perfect. Pleiadians, they are about the connection, about the organism, organized feeling. Arcturus, Arcturians, they are the aspect that allows the organized feeling to feel beyond, so you can recognize that you are not locked into the form. And of course, Orion gives you the mindset, a tool for your, yes, iteration, manifestation, collection, expansion, correction. It gives you the tooling. Of course, you took it to another dimension. You started accepting it as it was real. Like this is real. Oh, it looks real. It feels real. Consciousness. The tooling was just so you'd be able to manipulate the form. It wasn't to go write books and passages. It wasn't for you to understand. Yeah, understand space, understand form, understand consciousness. Now that's cosmic humor. So laugh at your self-consciousness. Maybe what will help you laugh at yourself is to feel all this that has been spoken of. Take your non-dominant hand, whichever one is in your embodiment. Non-dominant. Place 3 fingers across the surface. Let your hand, if you can, if it is comfortable, it can be across the horizontal plane, or if you would prefer, it could be the vertical plane. What we're going to start with is the horizontal plane. We'll get to the vertical plane in a moment. So very simply, 3 fingers. Let the middle finger, that's index, middle, and
ring finger.
Ring finger. There you go, understanding something again. Perfect. So take that middle finger and just let it investigate your umbilical center. You can do that consciously. Now, take dominant body hand, thumb. Let it be at the base of the cranium, skull plate, where spine connects. Comprehend consciousness?
Yeah.
Place it there. Reach the long finger forward so it literally rests on this point you call crown. Relax. You don't have to overstretch. Isn't it interesting how, unless you have lost elasticity in the joint, you will notice that your thumb touches base of cranium, long finger tip or pad stops right at your crown. It's designed perfectly. Consciousness. Now, relax this position. Take your hands away from your body. This position is about alignment. It is about connection. This umbilical center has never been labeled as a chakra point, and yet it is a key point of the body. Of the body. Touch this place with a focus. Your body will remember its interlink to the species. It will remember the interlink to that which manifested. You are inside a womb, a belly of your female gender. It is where your body formed. It will remember this. So consciousness. Why then we give you the second placement is for attuning, so that you can feel the wholeness of the being that you are. Simply now, remember, non-dominant touches 3 fingers, index, middle, and your wood ring. Take middle. This is on the horizontal plane. Let it push gently or move inside umbilical till you feel a tingle or a pulse. Are we clear, consciousness?
Yes.
Now, take dominant. Let thumb be at base of cranium plate. Let long finger touch top of cranium, that are known as the port of, spatial action, your crown. Now, breathe your forms. Let your eyes be open as you do this. We recognize you are seated. It is perfect that you sit. Now, in watching this body, we ask you to just watch. Let your position stay where it is. Simply now, the connect, this final movement of the non-dominant hand will be, it literally moves to vertical. You will find that maybe your vertical will have the heel going toward the chin rather than the heel going toward the base of the spine. So it is a upward movement. The fingers just move. The placement is still the same. Index, middle inside of the umbilical center, and ring finger on the other side. Now, as you have moved into that position, the final is simply you take the thumb and it swerves forward and is placed on this, what you call the preternatural. This you label as third eye. We are still fascinated by that terminology. That is our attempt at cosmic humor. So, beings, movement. Take the non-dominant hand in its position over the umbilical center. Let it come to a vertical position. Now, using long finger as a pivot point, swivel and let your thumb now move from the back of the cranium to your third eye. Place, hold, relax your shoulders. Breathe your forms. Hold the position. Notice how the umbilical center seems to run up your spine. Release position. Both hands simultaneously, please. Let yourself come to a rest. Some of you may be lingering in the position. Release the position. Notice your physiology. Notice your mind. You'll notice that motor coordination feels a little loose. You'll notice that your mind feels a little flexible. We would suggest that as was spoken to you by these other forms that merged, the celestial family would request that as you work with your body with these positions, just build up over time. As you move toward the start of the autumnal, you label equinox, this would be a good time to have built up to maybe 10 to 15 of your minutes. Now, when we say build up, we mean that you would start in the beginning position, which is again non-dominant hand placed over umbilical center, index, middle in the umbilical center, ring closing the gap. In a horizontal position, your dominant hand, thumb at the base of the cranium, and long finger extends to the top, or better known as crown. You would hold that for a third of the time. So if you're practicing for 3 minutes, it would be a minute. If you're practicing for 10, it would be thereabouts of 3 minutes. Is this correct in your mathematics?
Yes.
And then, after you have gotten to a certain point, we would suggest that you use some form of timing or timer so that you can begin to notice when the transition is asking for the shift. And then simply shift. Simply you turn the non-dominant hand vertical. Heel most likely going toward chin. Fingertips pointing toward your planet. Middle finger still inside of umbilical center. Thumb has moved from base of cranium to third eye. And you will hold that for the 2/3 of the time that is left. When you are complete, move both off simultaneously, please. That is the only requirement we ask you. And then, please relax your bodies. This is not something you do in your car. It is not something you do before you go to bed. It is not something you do during your lunch break. It is something that you create the space for in your day. Do it only once in a day. Once in a 24-hour period of moon dance around planet. Comprehend?
Yes.
Perfect. Or rather, Earth axis turn. Yes, better. So consciousness. That is what we bring you in these moments. Do you have questions of the position?
I just had a question, how long? Because the first third was 1, then what was the next? Is the next 2 minutes if you were doing 3?
Correct.
The other?
Correct. The other or final position. This is correct. You have understood perfectly. So 1/3 of, let's say you're doing it for 12 minutes. Working your way up to 10 to 15 minutes so that on the autumnal equinox you can play with this position. So the first third would be 5, correct? The last 2/3 would be 10. Make sense? Perfect. It does not matter. You just must work up to it. Allow yourself, because it is an electromagnetic grid that gets fired up. You can feel it, some of you. Some of you are still, it might be subtle. But as you work up to it, it becomes gross. You will notice it. It's good for clearing sinus passages. That is not our attempt at cosmic humor. It is good for creating digestive assistance as well. The keys to medicine are in your form. Always have been, always will.
One more question.
We are listening.
If you're working with someone, would you want them to would you show it to them to do on themselves, or would you do it for them?
Perfect question, consciousness. Thank you for bringing this to our attention. Yes, consciousness. We are not asking that you must now have friends only that will do this position with you. That was our attempt at cosmic humor. We are asking that if you feel so much, or you are inclined, and you choose to pass it along, by all means, pass it along. Efficiently, specifically, do not add any more timbre or timber to your verbiage. Less verbosity, the best. Just simply show them the position, and just simply tell them it's about alignment. That's the simplest way. Do you comprehend? Does this answer your question?
So better that they do it on themselves than us to try to do it.
Oh, thank you. You are now asking, or more specifically, you are saying, do it on someone else?
Well, which would be more beneficial for them?
There is only one way. Thank you for the clarity. It would be wise only for that which can do to itself to do to itself. Do not do this to someone else. Clear? In other words, keep your hands to yourself. You're a fascinating species. This must mean something to me. They're your hands. Why would you want to go and touch someone else? Your hands for touching here. Maybe sometime if you want to fondle someone else, fondle here first. Maybe they will feel it. You're an interesting species. Fascinating. Breathe consciousness. Any other questions of form? You follow?
Yes.
Perfect. We welcome you. Journey well, consciousness. We are. And once again, we come and bring Orion and release you from your histories.